I'm Nikki Lilly, and as this week is Shakespeare week, I thought I would attempt to make something that Shakespeare would have made and eaten. So I'm going to be making gingerbread. It is a bit of a different recipe to the way I would normally make it and doesn't require any baking and only a couple of ingredients, but let's get started. So to make the gingerbread, you will need 250 grams of honey. This is clear honey, which I'm going to weigh out. You'll need a teaspoon of ground ginger as well as a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And finally, this is where it gets a bit strange, you'll need 250 grams of breadcrumbs. So this is what's really going to make our gingerbread into the biscuity texture. Kind of, I guess it's more of a bready texture. I genuinely am so excited to see how this turns out. And then you'll need a tin, a square tin lined with some foil or a foil tin. So the first thing you want to do is weigh out your honey. I'm going to be weighing mine out straight into my pan where I'm going to be warming it up. A good tip actually is you can actually use a spoon with a little bit of oil coated on it to help it slip off. Okay, so perfect. That is about 250. Okay, so what you want to do with this honey now is warm it up over the stove. But obviously it is going to be hot, so please ask an adult for help and to assist you with this. So I'm going to do this when it's a little bit heated and warm, and then I'm going to be mixing in and adding my spices. So obviously in Shakespeare's time, they didn't have any heating, so they would have used a log stove to heat this up. Perfect, so now this is all warmed up, and as it is a little bit hot, make sure to put it on a mat or something and be careful. So what I'm going to do now is add in our spices and just stir this together. When you heat up the honey, it will get even more liquidy, so that is where the breadcrumbs will turn it into a more stiff consistency. This smells amazing. Okay, so as I'm going to mix the breadcrumbs and the honey spice mix together, I've just grabbed a bigger bowl so it's a bit easier to do that. So I'm going to pour in all of the breadcrumbs and then the mixture. Okay, and then we are just going to mix this all together. One of my things that I love most in the world is baking. It has always been such an escapism for me and something that has always really helped me when I'm having a bad day, or something that has added a lot of positivity into my life and has always been something that I turn to. I think it's so important to have time to yourself and do things that you love, and one of those things has always been baking for me. And I love how also you can make things that people love and it brings you all together and it's something that you can talk about. And I just think it's so exciting trying out new things like this. Ever since I was little, I have loved the magic of baking and how you can just put a couple of ingredients together and you can literally make something amazing that people really enjoy and that you enjoy the process of. And I think it's so important to take and make time in your week to do something that you love and that helps clear your mind, because it's so important to take care of your mental health. And so one of those things is doing stuff that you enjoy doing, and that helps you feel like you can take a moment to yourself. Okay, so at this point your bread mixture should look a little something like this, and I'm actually really excited about trying this. It looks amazing. So it is time to put your mixture into your foil tin. So I'm basically just going to tip it in. And then just get the last little bits with the spatula. And then just with my spatula, I'm going to press it down and make sure it's all even. So it should all come together and be really easy to press down, but if it isn't, you may just need to warm up a little bit more honey to bring it together. This really is such an easy thing to make with only like 3 or 4 ingredients, and is going to taste amazing. And you don't actually even have to bake it, which is a plus. It only just has to set up. So now it is all pressed down. You could probably eat it straight from the tin. I actually want to try a little bit. There's a little bit left in the bowl. That is surprisingly good. I really like the texture of the bread. Oh my gosh. So yeah, you could literally just eat it straight from the tin or even straight from the bowl, but I actually like to leave mine to the side to set a little bit so it's easier to cut. But in the meantime, I'm just going to mark out my squares. I wonder if Shakespeare, while eating one of these, was thinking about one of his books. Maybe Romeo and Juliet? Maybe Hamlet, is that one? Maybe Macbeth? Who knows? Back then they would use cloves or leaves to decorate these, so I'm going to be using some cloves and some leaves to decorate mine. So I'm just going to cut these up really roughly. They don't need to be too even. When I bake, nothing's ever too even, really. Okay, so this is how mine look. So I'm just going to leave these to the side for about 5 minutes, and then I will be back to taste test them. If you feel like after 5 minutes your gingerbread hasn't quite set, just leave it for as long as it needs. I left mine for a little bit longer. So now it is finally time for the taste test. Normally they would decorate their gingerbread with some box leaves and some cloves, as you can see here. I'm just going to leave mine as it is because I want to tuck in. Okay, so I'm just going to take one of the pieces and put it onto a plate. And now it is time for the taste test. I'm just eating mine with a spoon because it's a bit easier. Oh my gosh, that is genuinely incredible. You can taste the ginger, you can taste the cinnamon. It's also got such a nice texture from the breadcrumbs. I love it. I would never ever ever think about using bread for gingerbread, but it actually works really well. I can understand why Shakespeare would have liked this. It's quick. It's easy, it's yummy. I definitely think you should give this a go. So that's it for this bake along. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure to take time out of your week to do things that make you happy, like baking for me, and maybe it is trying out this recipe or other recipes that you love. See you next time. Bye.